Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. The San Francisco 49ers have officially made George Kittle the highest paid tight end in NFL history with a early morning update from Bussin' with the Boys. According to the boys, the San Francisco 49ers signed George Kittle to a 4-year, $76.4 million contract extension that included $40 million guaranteed. This puts him right above Trey McBride, who was signed earlier this offseason. And honestly, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 49er fans. We got a George Kittle extension before OTAs and mandatory minicamp right after the NFL draft. And something tells me it might not be the only extension that will be coming through very soon. But let's focus right here on San Francisco 49ers George Kittle as he gets paid. Oh, boy. Do we love to see it? Shout out to this video courtesy of the San Francisco 49ers of George Kittle officially inking his deal, the DAP, with John Lynch to make it official. This is exciting news. This is now the second time in George Kittle's career where I have woken up to him getting paid, a big time deal. And I know this probably means a lot for George to be able to continue to rise the tight end position, to be able to get these guys the value they deserve. And I know from a 49ers perspective, when it comes to George Kittle, every single fan, at least that I know, values George Kittle and what he brings to the table. This guy, in my opinion, is the epitome of what it is to be a San Francisco 49er ever since John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan took over. Because remember, guys, in that area between Harbaugh and Shanahan, it felt like the 49ers kind of lost their identity. And George Kittle, in my opinion, who was drafted in that 2017 NFL draft class in the 5th round, was a big part in revitalizing the identity of what a 49er is. He goes to work every day. He's a lunch pail guy. He's a blocker. He's a pass catcher. He does it all. And George Kittle gets his 3rd contract with the San Francisco 49ers. This, to me, is a great thing. If there's like any players that deserve to be able to have the opportunity to get a 3rd contract, to be able to retire with the San Francisco 49ers, it's George Kittle. I have no issues with this. None at all. I love it. George Kittle now is ranked number 1 in APY at $19.1 million, which is pretty phenomenal. I believe on his previous deal, he was making $15 million APY. So he gets a nice little pay raise, and he gets to be called the highest paid tight end in NFL history. So, yeah, absolutely love to see it. A very, very deserving contract. And again, George is such a great player to have in the nucleus of your locker room. He is a guy who is going to be able to bring people along. He is going to be able to set the standard and maintain the standard, not only for himself, but for everyone else in that locker room. And he is a great asset to have on that offense. Kyle Shanahan's scheme is predicated on having a good tight end. And now the San Francisco 49ers are guaranteed to have George Kittle through 35 years old. Let's go. And when you look at the 6'4", 250-pound tight end out of Iowa, who some once called a fullback. Yes, they called George Kittle a fullback coming out of Iowa. Remember when he was selected in the 5th round, 146th overall? To me, that was one of my all-time favorite draft moments. For you guys that don't know, George Kittle was a draft crush of mine. And when I say draft crush, I mean the kind where I'm arguing with NFL analysts. I'm like beating the door down saying this guy is going to be a stud. Do not sleep on George Kittle. One of my all-time favorite evaluations, one of my all-time favorite guys. Ran into George at the Super Bowl. Great story, man. It was so cool. I saw George, walking through with his mom. He was in this kind of roped off area where they were doing all these radio interviews, and I see his mom kind of standing by the ropes. So I never have met her, but we follow each other on Instagram for years. And so I'm like, I'm gonna go say what's up. And I went over, introduced myself. She was super happy to be able to meet me for the first time. So we were just kind of chopping it up for about 10 minutes while George is doing his interview. And then I'm like, all right, well, it was great to meet you. I'm gonna go, walk around. This was at New Orleans at Radio Row. And I walk away and I hear Brad. And I'm like, what the heck? And I turn around and George is hopping off the radio booth behind the ropes, comes running around the ropes to come over and say what's up. And it was a super cool interaction. And again, I've been big on George since before he was a San Francisco 49er. It was just a cherry on top that he became a Niner, and genuinely one of my favorite guys like ever. George is just a phenomenal guy, phenomenal player, and a great person. And I'm so excited for him to be able to get this opportunity. I'm so excited that the 49ers rewarded all his effort and everything that he's put into this franchise. And now he will have the opportunity to potentially retire a 49er if that's what he wants to do. And I'm really, really happy about this. Really excited that we get at minimum 4 more years of George Kittle in the red and gold. Super, super excited. I mean, when you look at what this guy has done over his career, he has nearly 8,000 receiving yards on 571 receptions with 47 touchdowns. Not only that, he is a menace in the run game when it comes to being a blocker. And again, he's the perfect tight end. He's like a great teammate. And in my opinion, he's the best tight end in football, and he has been the best tight end in football for the entirety of his career. And it really hasn't been much of a debate for me. Yes, I understand Travis Kelce. He's a great receiving tight end. But what George Kittle does in the blocking game doesn't get enough credit and is a huge part of being a tight end. And he does it at an elite level. So I'm really excited for George. I'm really excited that he gets to be recognized as this. And I'm really excited that we could be talking about George Kittle as a forever Niner, as he is so deserving of this title. And I got to shout out the San Francisco 49ers. Not every team would probably love the idea of paying someone like George Kittle in his career to be the highest paid at his position. But credit to the San Francisco 49ers. This was a guy that deserved it. This was a guy that is going to continue to play at a high level. And this is going to be a guy who's going to reward you for rewarding him. So absolutely love this. Let me know what you guys think about George Kittle getting paid in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.